contest, stopping only just for a very brief lunch break. The other man had a leisurely lunch and took several breaks throughout the course of the day. At the end of the day, and a little annoyed to find that the other guy said, and he said, "Hey," which is the way I think that God talks. You might not think that. You might think God would say, "Very clearly, I say it to thee." But I think God would say, "Hey." Suppose God walked up and he said, "Hey, I have made something just for you. A great gift. It is going to be a great blessing to you. Let me tell you a bit about this gift that I made for you and I'm offering to you. This gift is going to deepen the intimacy of your relationship with me more than any other Christian book that you can read, more than any study that you can attend, more than any Christian conference that you can attend. Additionally, this gift is going to refresh and renew and rejuvenate you, physically, emotionally, and spiritually, more than any natural or holistic elixir or diet offered by the emaciated face with the classy self-improvers. Furthermore, this gift is going to draw you closer to other Christians, more than a lifetime of Baptist potluck suppers could ever do. And not only that, but this gift has the potential to make you more joyful than a Pentecostal holding a winning lottery ticket. Also, this gift can open up more doors of opportunity to minister than you ever imagined, not to mention that it will enable you to worship me in a way that you never thought possible. And this gift will give you a glow that will rival the Shekinah glory of Moses' face when he came down from Mount Sinai. I mean, this gift is so sacred and so potent and so significant, so powerful, that it ought to be tucked away in heaven's holy of holies and handled only by the great high priest, Jesus himself. And the good news is that I'm going to give you this great and mighty gift. What if God came up to you and said all of that? How would you respond? Well, I'm pleased to tell you this morning you don't have to wait for God to walk up to you and tell you that, because He's already freely given that gift to you. That gift is the Sabbath. It's the Sabbath. It's Sabbath rest. Our study here in Exodus brings us, as we get to the end here now, of this great historical narrative, it brings us to the subject matter of the Sabbath, which we first saw commanded on the tablets of the Decalogue, the Ten Commandments, back in Exodus chapter 20. That's a passage we're going to look at and review again in a few moments this morning, and a passage that we just read together, one of those three. The questions that arise when we visit passages that deal with the Sabbath are usually two questions. The first question is, what exactly is it all about? The second is, what do we do with it? What do we do with the various commandments concerning the Sabbath, especially that fourth of the Ten Commandments? And so I decided to take a couple of weeks here as we close out Exodus to look into these questions as we consider yet a couple of other Sabbath passages, Exodus 31 and Exodus 35. We're going to look at those together in the weeks ahead. But I want us to kind of lay a foundation for what the Sabbath is, the basics of the Sabbath, I call it. And we're going to look at those very foundational passages from the writings of Moses, all the way back at the beginning in Genesis 2, 1 to 3. That's the first one we'll look at. Exodus 28 through 11, the second, and Deuteronomy 5, 12 to 15, passages that we just read a few moments ago. And there's no outline this morning. You probably noticed that on the back of your bulletin when you went to see if you could fill in the blanks. But there are no blanks, but there's just one big blank. And so I don't really have an outline This is somewhat more of an inductive kind of a sermon where we kind of take all the parts and the pieces and we kind of roll them together at the end and come up with kind of a big idea of what the Sabbath is. This sermon I titled Basics of the Sabbath. So if you'd just like to maybe write these passages as we deal with them there in that sermon notes area, and any notes you want to put under that, feel free to do that this morning. A little more of a teaching time this morning than a proclamational preaching time this morning. So let's take it one at a time. The first text that I would like to look at is the one that we just read together a few moments ago, Genesis chapter 2, verses 1 through 3, all the way back to the beginning, at the beginning of the beginning. After the first days of creation, the first 6 days of creation, in chapter 1, as we get to 2, the heavens and the earth were completed in all their vast array. So 6 days, the work's done. The work is done, but there's still a seventh day. A seventh day. Thus the heavens and the earth were completed. By the seventh day, God had finished the work he had been doing. So on the seventh, he rested from all his work. Then God blessed the seventh day and made it holy, because on it he rested from all the work of creating that he had done. I didn't have us read the entirety of that creation account, but what I'd like you to notice, and I'm sure you're familiar with it there in Genesis chapter 1, I want you to notice is that what happened before Genesis 2, 1 through 3 has elements of both continuity and discontinuity with Genesis 1. What we're reading Genesis 2 there, in those opening verses, has elements of continuity and discontinuity with the first 6 days of creation. Elements that contribute to our understanding of what God is getting at in Genesis 2, 1 through 3, when he rested on the Sabbath. The Sabbath, what I want you to know in terms of continuity, is that the Sabbath is part of the story. It's part of the story. The Sabbath is the seventh day. The seventh day, day 7. It's part of the creation acts of God, because on that God created the Sabbath. He rested from his work and created the Sabbath. It's a day 7 of God's creation act. And that's how it's connected to Genesis 1. However, it is disconnected in that on that seventh day, God created nothing that was material. He just created this day of set aside for rest. For rest. So, what is this Sabbath that was instituted at the very most beginning of all the days? Well, the first thing I would have you notice concerning the Sabbath is its location in the Old Testament. The Sabbath was created at the beginning of the book of beginnings. Thus, we can conclude that, and as we'll later see, the Sabbath did not begin as a point of law. It did not begin as a point of law with Moses in the book of Exodus. The Sabbath began in the creative activity of God and as a day hallowed by God, who broke from his creative routine by ceasing his creative activity. What does such an early placement of the Sabbath in the Hebrew Scriptures tell us? Well, right here, we can answer the question of whether the Sabbath is significant for us or only for the Jews of Exodus. And we can answer that question by noting that on the seventh day of creation, there was no Jew and Gentile. There was no Jew and Gentile in Genesis chapter 2. There was just Adam and Eve. Just humanity. Human resident. Humanity, the resident of humanity in the loins of both Adam and Eve. And so, yes, the Sabbath, most often thought of as being for the Jews, or as a Jewish observance, and most closely associated with Jews in the Bible, it is in some sense for all of us. it's for all of us. For all human beings. There's a second observation that I would like to make that concerns the part of speech that's used here in Genesis 2. Because this too distinguishes the Sabbath from the way that it is usually presented in the Bible. Although the Sabbath will become a noun, in Genesis 2, the seventh day, he that is God rested. He Sabbathed. He Shabbated from all of his work. And then God blessed the seventh day and made it holy. Why? Verse 3, because on it he rested. He Sabbathed from all the work of creating that he had done. In Genesis 2, the Sabbath is not a thing to be observed. It's not a day wherein certain things were to happen or to not happen. Here in Genesis 2, the Sabbath in verb form refers to God ceasing from his regular, usual routine of activity. What he had been doing the first 6 days. Creation. So we come to understand that this word Sabbath, at its most basic root idea, it means to resist, to stop, to pause, to rest. In that sense. So God didn't rest because he was tired. God rested, and that God rested, he ceased from the activity that he was doing. Human beings, we often think that rest is something that we do or should do or need to do because we're tired. The older I get, the more that happens. But it's something that we know if we can get that rest, it'll rejuvenate us. It'll bring us out of our exhausted state. But of course, we can't bring that idea over into our understanding of Genesis 2 when thinking about rest as it relates to God, because God doesn't tire as we do. He doesn't get exhausted as we do. You see, the Sabbath, while it might have restful and refreshing qualities to it, at its heart, it's not about physical need, albeit it will certainly bring physical refreshment to the physical creation. Unfortunately, this is often the focus when, especially Christian self-help folks are writing about the Sabbath. The restful aspect, the physical refreshment aspect, is often the most important part of the focus. That's really not what the Sabbath is about. It is a benefit, yes. That's not really what the Sabbath is. The Sabbath is about cessation from the routine of work. Cessation from the routine of work for a higher purpose that we're going to explore later. There's another idea that's kind of latent here in Genesis 2. That's that the Sabbath is for more than just us. Did you notice that the seventh day is not only a day of no creative work on God's part, but this is the only day that God does not include the familiar morning and evening. We see it in the other 6 days. There was morning and evening, and that was the day. But we don't see that here, as we see in Genesis 1. Genesis 2:1 tells us that the great cosmic watch had already been wound. The clock of history had already begun ticking. Everything and everyone to be created, actually or potentially, was created. Humanity, albeit the crowning work of God's creation, was also merely a part of that much greater whole. God did not merely cease from his work of creating human beings. The text tells us he ceased from all his work. That's what the text says. He ceased from all his work. His creation of light, of expanse, of water and land and vegetation, and day and night, stars and planets, tasty land and sea creatures. And finally, he rested, he ceased from all his but something I think Jesus' disciples will certainly think more about as stewards of God's creation, and they should. We need to think about rest in relation to the land. God will build that into his law code, as well as other things. So what does this Genesis 2:1-3 tell us about the Sabbath? Well, first it tells us that the Sabbath reveals that Yahweh is Lord of all. Yahweh is Lord of all. That's what Genesis 2:1-3 tells us. And that is the first, most basic idea of the Sabbath. It is revelatory. It reveals God. It says something about God. And what it says about God, the Creator, is that he is not only Creator, but he is Lord of all. We must begin with that understanding that the Sabbath is a day to acknowledge Yahweh is Lord of all. That's the first idea of Genesis 2:1-3. The second primary text on the Sabbath that we read, I have us look at again. Look back over here to Exodus 28:11. I'm not going to read it again, but it's part of the Ten Commandments. It codifies what God did back in Genesis. Here on Mount Sinai, God codified. That is, he put it into a legal code, the Mosaic law. He codified what he had already instituted in practice. He instituted it, of course, in his own practice in Genesis, but also, if you want to flip back to Exodus 16, another passage that we've already seen in our trek through Exodus. As Israel fled Egypt and was being led through the wilderness by God, remember that God began to feed Israel. He fed them manna from heaven, God's daily provision for a massive number of people. Probably, scholars estimate 2 million people left Egypt in the Exodus. And they're traveling through this very rough terrain, and God is feeding them with manna from heaven. In Genesis 16, God told them that they would have to go out and acquire it. He was going to give it to them because they made it available, but he wasn't going to chew it for them. They had to go get it, first of all. They had to work. They had to go out and get it. They had to acquire their daily bread. They had to prepare their meals. They had to boil and bake as was needed to prepare what God provided for their families. And of course, God's very big on work. And in the New Testament, it will say that if a man won't work, he shouldn't eat. So God's very big on us working to provide for the needs of our lives. And that's what God did. He put the manna out there, but they had to go get it. They had to collect it. They had to prepare it. Well, in Genesis 16, God told them that they should acquire their daily bread for the 7th day, on the 6th day. So they should not only acquire day 6's bread, manna, but they should also, on day 6, acquire day 7's bread. Day 7, because God told them that the 7th day was a holy day. A holy day. A day of ceasing from the gathering of their daily bread in order to devote that day to the Lord. Exodus 16 says. In fact, they would find no manna on the 7th day. If they did not do as the Lord commanded and prepare in such a way that they could eat on the 7th, if they didn't do that on the 6th day, there was not going to be anything there on the 7th day. God was going to provide for the 7th by doubling the allotment on the 6th. And he would even make it so that what was acquired on the 6th wouldn't spoil on the 7th. God was taken care of. They had to do the work. That work was to cease on the 7th. The 7th day was a day to cease from acquiring your daily bread, a day to enjoy God's provision, a day of holy observance, not just another day to make a living, another day to provide for themselves. As we come to the 4th commandment in Exodus 20, God codified what he had already given to the people in Exodus 16. And when he had already practiced himself in Genesis chapter 2. Notice the fourth commandment begins with the imperative word, remember. Remember the Sabbath. That word, remember, it's a word that takes the one who is doing the remembering back to some significant time or event. The event is significant to the rememberer. In order to be worthy of remembering. Meaning that the past event in some way is connected to the one who is doing the remembering. Here, we are to remember or commemorate the Sabbath and keep it as a holy day because of some significant event in the past to which it is connected. The question then is, what is that event? What is the event that the rememberer in his remembering is remembering? It's important to note the basis of this commandment, Exodus 20:11, is what we just saw in Genesis chapter 2. God's people should cease from their activities of acquiring their daily bread on the Sabbath, just like God did, and observe this day as a holy day, a day that is holy. The word holy means other than, right? Other than. A day that is other than the rest, different from the rest. It's a day devoted solely to and focused solely on God. And so coupling the fourth commandment of Exodus 20 with what God told the manna-eating wilderness Jews in Exodus 16, we may conclude that the Sabbath is an observance that reveals and acknowledges that Yahweh is both creator and provider. In fact, he is the creator / provider. Or creator / provider. That's what we heard about this. We are acknowledging creator provider for the law. It's our way to commemorate God. To commemorate God as creator, provider of life and everything in life. It's a day where we stop. We cease from our activity of acquiring for ourselves. Commemorate God. The third primary text that helps us understand what the Sabbath is all about is Deuteronomy chapter 5, verse 12 verse 12. The Sabbath text here begins with the word observe. Not remember, but observe. Observe the Sabbath day by keeping it holy. That word means to keep, to watch, or actually it has even the idea of preserving. So here's the idea of the Sabbath as an ongoing regular observance by Jews under Mosaic law, and the preservation of that observance is what is actually being emphasized. The preservation aspect of it. The reason this is to be preserved, according to verse 12, is that it has now been commanded by God in Exodus 20, the fourth commandment. Observe the Sabbath day, keeping it holy. Notice the next phrase. What's important in this passage? As the Lord your God has commanded. What I would have you notice about this passage is that after the commandment of Exodus 20 is virtually repeated in verses 13 and 14 of Deuteronomy 5, we see something new here in verse 15. Whereas the commandment concerning an observance of the Sabbath is usually rooted in God's creative activity back in Genesis 2, here the reason for observing the Sabbath and keeping it holy is due to another act of God, a different act of God. Not creation of the world and all that is in it, but the redemption of his people from bondage and slavery. Now we have two commands. Remember, Exodus 20, and observe in Deuteronomy 5. Two acts of God that lie at the heart of remembering and observing. Creation, redemption. Creation, redemption. Folks, those are the two great activities of God. God created all that is, and redeemed sinful man, So here in this third significant passage concerning the Sabbath, we find that the Sabbath reveals not only that Yahweh is Lord of all, and that Yahweh is the creator and provider for his people, but also that Yahweh is the redeemer of his people. And so we can kind of bundle all three of these passages and all of these ideas together this way. We can conclude this morning. The Sabbath is a holy day, a day that we are to cease from our usual activities of making a living, to remember and observe that God is Lord of all that is, that God is creator and provider for life, and that God is our Redeemer. That is what the Sabbath is. That's what it's about. Having established that the Sabbath is for us, not just Jews, but American Christians right here in the 21st century. The Sabbath is for us in some way, since it was essentially built into the creative order of Genesis 2 before there ever was humanity. As we turn our attention to other issues and other questions having to do with how we observe the Sabbath, we're going to do that next time we go. Let's not forget, let's not lose sight of what the Sabbath is about, what it's supposed to be about. And whatever conclusions we finally come to, our Sabbath practices must be true to what God intended, as we saw this morning. That is the Sabbath's definition. The Sabbath is a holy day, a day that we are to cease from our usual activities of making a living, to remember and to observe that God is Lord of all that is, that God's creator and provider for life, that God is our Redeemer. And we too, in some way, must set aside a day to come apart from the activities of acquiring for ourselves and for our families, to remember and observe that God is our Lord, that God is our creator and provider, that God is our Redeemer. Really, really see God. Honor, glorify, praise. Little boy was taken by his father on a camping trip out in the wilderness to the Adirondack Mountains. And they hired a guide. This guy was a great guy. And they left the beaten trails as they trekked through the wilderness, and they spent a week back in the heart of the woods. And the boy was greatly impressed by the ability of the guide to see all sorts of things, things that were invisible to the ordinary eye. And one day after the guide had been pointing out some of the hidden secrets of nature to the young boy, the lad asked in a voice of awe, "Mister, can you see God?" The old guide replied, "My boy, it's getting so I can hardly see anything else. I'm not the woods." When it gets so that you can hardly see anything else but God on your Sabbath, then your observance of the Sabbath will finally have become what God intended the Sabbath to be. Next time we're going to look at Exodus 31, Exodus 35. We're going to discover 7 ideals, unless I can look them up and make it 8. So far I have 7. 7 big ideas, 7 ideals about the Sabbath. That's what we'll do together. But this morning I just wanted to really establish what it is. Not lose sight of the Sabbath. Let's see God who He is. As we observe all of God. Who God is and all that God is. We sung songs this morning expressing our heart.